Hello and welcome back to the Second Chance to Live channel here on YouTube. I'm happy to see that you decided to stop by to watch this video presentation. In today's video presentation, I'm going to be sharing an article that I wrote and published on Second Chance to Live several days ago. I create video presentations of my articles for individuals who learn better through watching and listening, as I do also. To read the article, I'll put my glass back on and bring up the article. I want to thank you for your time. You're an important part of my process, and I always enjoy our times together. Here's the article. Traumatic brain injury recovery predictions. What may be limiting your recovery process? Hello, and welcome back to Second Chance to Live, my friend. I'm happy to have you around my table. Thank you for deciding to stop by to read this article. In the article, I will share 3 contributing factors that I believe influence recovery predictions for individuals who sustain and are living with traumatic brain injuries. In my experience, these contributing factors, in effect, kept me focused on what I could not change for many years. These 3 contributing factors, in effect, kept me fighting against myself, instead of teaching me how to champion the gains that I was making as an individual who is living with the impact of a traumatic brain injury. As you read this article, may you be encouraged to change your focus from what you cannot change to what you can accomplish within your set of circumstances. As you read this article, may you be encouraged to stop fighting against yourself and start championing the gains that you are making as an individual who is living with the impact of a traumatic brain injury. As you read this article, may you grasp hope and move forward in your recovery process as an individual who is living with the impact of a traumatic brain injury. May you be encouraged to run your own race. My observations of the 3 contributing factors. In my experience, I believe that no 2 traumatic brain injuries are the same, as no 2 individuals are the same. To give predictions concerning the recovery process of each individual is to place limits on each individual's recovery process. I recently wrote 2 articles in which I spoke to 2 contributing factors that I believe, in effect, undermine and limit the recovery process of traumatic brain injury survivors. These 2 contributing factors, struggling to accept myself when other people can't or won't, and it's all up in your head, imply and assign blame to traumatic brain injury survivors, blame for something that they are powerless over being able to change. Let me explain. Both messages communicate to brain injury survivors that there is something wrong with us, that it is our fault, and that is the reason why people do not accept us. The implication of these messages can lead brain injury survivors to believe that if they do not recover in specified ways, that there is something inherently wrong with them. The implications of these 2 messages also serve to set brain injury survivors up to fail. What I mean by setting up brain injury survivors to fail is that the brain injury survivor can be led to believe that if they do not meet specific criteria that demonstrate recovery gains, then they are not recovering. Brain injury survivors may subsequently become frustrated and disheartened in their recovery process because of these messages. For many years, I remained frustrated and disheartened because of these 2 messages that I internalized and believed about myself and believed about other people, and joined in the chorus of criticism towards myself. For many years, I found myself frustrated because I bought into these two messages that set me up to believe that there was something wrong with me, that it was my fault, and that I was the reason why people did not accept me. These messages undermined my capacity to recover because I did not know any better. In my recovery process, I discovered a third contributing factor that can limit and undermine the recovery process of traumatic brain injury survivors. Let me explain. During this past weekend, I spent some time with a friend. During our time together, I asked him to show me how to back up a browser profile. He showed me and then wanted me to duplicate what he showed me. As I attempted to recreate what he showed me, he became frustrated with me. I then proceeded to sit down and write down each step of the process of backing up a browser profile that he explained through a list of 9 steps. I share the interaction with you, my friend, to illustrate the third contributing factor. The way that people may be trying to teach you as a traumatic brain injury survivor may not be the way in which you learn, which may be leaving you frustrated and disheartened. Again, the third contributing factor is the way that people may be trying to teach you as a traumatic brain injury survivor that may not be the way in which you learn, which may be leaving you frustrated and disheartened. In a later conversation during our visit, my friend said that he does not know how to teach me. His statement reinforced the significance of the third contributing factor. Again, his statement reinforced the significance of the third contributing factor. Solution. What the experience with my friend over the weekend reinforced was that the recovery process of traumatic brain injury survivors may be limited not because of our inability to learn, but because of the way in which people have been trying to teach us. With this consideration, I would encourage you to challenge the prediction of your recovery as a traumatic brain injury survivor. Maybe you have not been making the recovery gains that you would like as a traumatic brain injury survivor because of the ways that people have expected you to learn. Something else that you may like to consider is that maybe your learning style has changed after you sustained your traumatic brain injury. Consequently, the recovery predictions that have been given to you may have nothing to do with you, but with the way you now learn. With the third consideration, you may want to have your learning style tested to determine how you best learn now. In September of 2007, I wrote an article to share some information that has benefited me. The article's title, Traumatic Brain Injury and Activities of Daily Living. Here is a link to the article, Traumatic Brain Injury and Activities of Daily Living, which I include in my article here on Second Chance to Live. I also include a link to the video presentation of Traumatic Brain Injury and Activities of Daily Living video presentation. I would encourage you to read, watch, or listen to the article and ask your counselor to test your current learning style or styles. By understanding and incorporating your true learning style, you may find that the recovery process, your recovery process, will take on a new life. By doing so, you may find yourself surpassing the predictions that were made concerning your recovery process. At the bottom of this article, I include links to the 2 articles that I spoke to in the above article. So if in the event that you'd like to read or listen to these particular video presentations or read the articles, you can come to this particular article, which I'll include a link in the discussion portion here on YouTube, and then you can read the article. Excuse me. Below are listed the two articles that I spoke to at the beginning of the article, as I said, along with links to the video presentations. The articles are Living with an Invisible Disability, Accepting Ourselves When Other People Can't, and Living with a Brain Injury, It's All Up in Your Head, Lest I Be Lulled Back into Denial, as well as the video presentations of these two articles. This is the end of the article. I want to thank you for your time. You're an important part of my process, and I would love to hear from you. In the event that you have a question or you'd like to leave a comment, you may do so through the comment section on YouTube, and I'll respond to you. Before I go, let me encourage you with this. Please do not give up on yourself, a loving God, or your process, because more will be revealed to us in time. The pieces of the puzzle will come together in the correct order and at the right time. I'll say so long for now. Have a great day, and God bless both you and your family. So long now.